a real highlight of our gathering, whether it's convocation and now in the Academie, is that we've always asked for two of our alums who are students here at St. Ed's to reflect on their experience of Holy Cross education in our high school and here at St. Ed's. We have approximately 74 alums from our Holy Cross schools, right, Larry? Who are present students here at St. Edward's University. And they are the alumni, the administration, and many people here count on them and when they come because they know how this is to be a Holy Cross school. And so we always invite two of our young people to address you, to let you know what you have accomplished. This morning we saw one of the fruits of our labors in that wonderful video for the student walkout day. That was the work of our own students. And now we're going to hear from two young people, Rachel, where's Rachel? Okay, I'm sorry. Rachel, and then Ben, all right? So Brother Larry's going to introduce them. He may introduce them in the opposite order than I just mentioned them, but so please give them your full attention.
I'm Brother Larry Atkinson. I'm one of the assistant directors of campus ministry here at St. Edward's, and get to work with all of the students who come from your schools. And one of the reasons why I like this so much is that not only does it affirm for me the value of a Holy Cross education, but I get to share that with you, that these students will speak for all the students in your classrooms, the ones who get it and the ones you never know if they quite understand what we're talking about. But I can assure you that the students who come from our Holy Cross schools, they understand, they have the vocabulary, and it makes it an easy transition for them as we try to articulate that same Holy Cross mission. It becomes easier for them to take on leadership roles. They've had a tremendous influence on our mission here at the university and what Holy Cross means. So I want to introduce the two speakers. We have two wonderful speakers this year. First is going to be Ben Cook. Rachel made sure, she said, no, Ben's got to go first. Ben Cook from Archbishop Hoban High School, who has a long history of Holy Cross connections. And then Rachel Leader from Bishop McNamara High School, from the Mustangs. And Rachel just spent last semester in Thailand on a study abroad program. And so we're happy to have her back, and she's going to be able to speak. So I'm going to let them speak for themselves. They speak much more eloquently than I could ever do. So I'd like to introduce Ben Cook from Archbishop Hoban High School.
Good evening. My name is Ben Cook, as Brother Larry said. I am a senior here at St. Edward's University, and I am honored to be standing here before you. I attended the Archbishop Hoban in Akron, Ohio, and little did I know at the time, but attending Hoban was the best decision, or the chain of decisions, that could ever happen in my life. I would like to start by thanking the Holy Cross Institute for giving me this opportunity to speak to all of you tonight. I would also like to thank a few people that have helped me over my Holy Cross journey. Brother Bob Livernoy, Dr. Todd Sweeta, and really everyone at Archbishop Hoban High School has played some role in where I am today. As for how I arrived at St. Edward's, that story does not just begin 8 years ago when I started high school. I would say that there is no better place to start than with my grandfather graduating from Hoban in 1968 and later going on to graduate from the University of Notre Dame in 1975. His attendance at one of the most well-known Catholic Holy Cross universities would start a chain of events that still affect me to this day. You could say that I have essentially been brainwashed since birth about the idea of God, country, Notre Dame. I attended my first Notre Dame football game at the age of 4 and have been to many games over the years, while seeing the iconic views of the Basilica, the Grotto, and of course, the Golden Dome. While my grandfather was getting his MBA from Notre Dame, my grandmother took a job in Rolling Prairie, Indiana at Le Mans Academy, a Holy Cross boarding school. It is here that she would meet so many wonderful people like Brother Bob Livernoy, who would later go on to be one of my favorite teachers at Hoban. Brother Bob, among many others, took my grandmother in and befriended her in a school and a place that was foreign to her. Their generosity and kindness meant so much to her then, as it still does to this day. The stories I have heard from her time at Le Mans Academy are not only funny, but they explain so much as to why the Brothers of Holy Cross have played an influential role in my life. My mother was next in line as she graduated from Hoban in 1993, with my aunt and uncle following suit in 1999 and 2000. I was young at the time of my aunt and uncle graduating from Hoban, but I most certainly have fond memories of it. I remember running around the halls and interacting with Brother Ken Haters, who was Hoban's president at the time. I remember stealing all the track batons from my uncle's track practices, and I remember going to every Hoban football game every Friday night in the fall. Hoban, and to a greater extent, Holy Cross, was in my blood whether I knew it or not. There was no option for me as to where I would attend high school. It was always Hoban. As easy as it was saying that Hoban was in my future, it never seemed easy. To start with the story of my life, my father left my mother and I shortly after I was born, and it has been just the two of us ever since. This situation my mother found herself in was harder than I could ever imagine. A single parent, still finishing school, and while I had no idea the hardships that were present, I believe that goes to show her true character. Once she graduated from college, she became a teacher and has been at the same public high school ever since. She loves her job, but over the years, she took on extra jobs, and she showed me from an early age, no matter the situation, hard work will pay off in the long run. As a kid, I would have never known that anything was wrong or that anything was different. As I got older, I slowly matured, or so I thought, and I began to realize that things were not as easy for us as they used to seem. I went to a Catholic grade school in Akron, Ohio, and while it was a very good start for my education, one that I value immensely, it was not cheap. I know my mom had frantic nights figuring out how to pay for everything. She always put me first, and she continues to do that to this day. As I moved into 8th grade, about to begin my transition into high school, I was old enough to see the things my mother had to do for us to get by. Yet Hoban was a new challenge, a more expensive challenge. We received financial aid and a scholarship or two, but it was still cutting it close. My grandfather would eventually help us out with payments for Hoban, but to say that these were hard times for my mom, it's an understatement. I will never forget the sacrifices she made for me to attend a Holy Cross High School in Akron, Ohio. I could have gone to a public high school and received a good education for free, all the while freeing her of many burdens and a lot of stress. But she decided to do whatever it took for me to attend Hoban. As for my experience at Hoban, I could list off countless memories. I could honestly talk all night about Hoban and the stories I have from that special place. While I knew and loved Hoban from an early age, I was introduced to something very new as well, Holy Cross. I remember vividly sitting in my freshman religion class learning all about Holy Cross, Basil Moreau, Jacques Sujare, Father Soren, all of these names that were new to me, but at the same time, they felt familiar. Because my entire family is brainwashed, and we are all diehard Notre Dame fans, once we got to that part of the Holy Cross history, you could say I was hooked. We learned about the history of Holy Cross, but we also learned about the mission and values of this congregation. Specifically, in Hoban's mission statement, it says, "We are committed to challenging each student in both heart and mind to be a compassionate individual, a lifelong learner, and a responsible steward of God's creation." I remember learning that so vividly and wondering what it all meant, outside of the words themselves. Little did I know that Hoban would have the impact it did on my life. 4 years ago, I was a senior in high school, and I was a leader for one of the Kairos retreats. My experiences from that, the friends, and the realizations I made on that retreat will stay with me for the rest of my life. Holy Cross, Hoban, St. Ed's, it will forever be with me. Over my time, I learned how to be my own person, and I learned what it meant to live with zeal, with hope, with integrity, and to be a part of a family. The core values of Holy Cross are not just words. They are alive and well in our world. They are in every action that all of you do at your schools, and they are around us in our everyday lives. At the end of the day, Hoban means more to me than I could ever express in words, and it is because of Hoban and the people at Hoban that I have become this person before you. Holy Cross was one of the most important parts of my young life, and it will continue to be important for as long as I live. A little tidbit about what I recently told my little cousin who was choosing a high school to attend. It was down to Hoban and this Jesuit high school. They're not that important though. But I talked with his parents who were letting him choose, and I talked with my little cousin about it as well. I told him that choosing Hoban and choosing Holy Cross will be one of the best choices of your life, just like it was for me. The education is top-notch, as it is in all of your Holy Cross high schools. But what I told them was that attending a Holy Cross high school is not just about the education, but it is about the experiences, the friendships, and the memories that will change and impact your life forever. He chose Hoban, and I could honestly not be happier to have another family member continue the Holy Cross way. While I do not believe that my life was any harder than the next person's, I do believe that the situation I was born into had the possibility to put me in a very different position than I find myself in today. Had my grandfather not attended Hoban and Notre Dame, and more importantly, had my grandmother not befriended Brother Bob at Le Mans Academy, I am fairly positive my life alone would be extremely different. As I was looking at colleges, it came down to Stonehill College and St. Edward's University, two Holy Cross schools. It was Brother Bob, however, who told me or persuaded me to seriously consider St. Edward's. And for that, Brother Bob, I cannot thank you enough. I then proceeded to take one visit to this school on a hill in Austin, Texas, and within 4 hours of being here, I had put my deposit down. This university is on the list of the most influential places in my life. Yet I must fully hand the credit to Archbishop Hoban for bringing me to St. Edward's. Finally, I wish to speak to all educators and administrators here. I'm not alone in the feelings I have. Many of the students that attended the other high schools in this room are here because of all of you. Whether you know it or not, your effect on my life and the lives of my peers will never be forgotten. You helped ensure that both our minds and our hearts were educated. I strongly urge that all of you continue to do what you have been doing for so long. The work you do day in and day out at your high schools is so very important. I understand you may not always get the thanks you deserve from teenagers, but I want to personally thank all of you for your hard work and dedication to Holy Cross and to the education of young people. You truly make the world a better place. When asked about Hoban or St. Edward's, it is almost hard to describe my experiences in my time here other than to sum it up as amazing. I often think of a Lou Holtz quote about Notre Dame. Those who know Notre Dame, no explanation is necessary. Those who don't, no explanation will suffice. I think I would revise that statement to fully reflect upon my Holy Cross experience. Those who know Holy Cross, no explanation is necessary. Those who don't, no explanation will suffice. I want to thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight, and once again, thank you for everything that you do.
Brother Larry, my #1 cheerleader. Thanks, Brother Larry. Hi. Hello, can everyone hear me? Good, good, great. Hello, my name is Rachel Leader. I am a junior at St. Edward's University, and I would like to thank the Holy Cross Academy for this opportunity to speak. I'd also like to thank my parents, my high school faculty and staff and administrators, and St. Edward's University. About a year ago, I led a service immersion to El Paso, Texas, with campus ministry at St. Edward's. I spent months preparing students for this week, and together we learned about the issues surrounding immigration and migrant farm workers. When the week came around, we spent much of our time at a women's shelter in Villa Maria. Throughout this week, we prepared dinner for these women and shared these meals with them. On the second day, I ate dinner with 6 of the women living at Villa Maria. As we spoke, one of them abruptly asked me, "Why are you here?" 6 set of eyes turned to gaze upon me, awaiting my answer. Why are we here? Why am I here? This brings me back to about 4 years ago. I heard a lot of Holy Cross catchphrases throughout my time at Bishop McNamara High School in Forestville, Maryland. The first 2 years of my high school career, I was concerned about making friends, passing geometry, and just coasting by. I was not a bad student by any means. I had decent grades, and I was involved in extracurriculars. By general standards, I was a pretty good student. My junior and senior years, however, were particularly challenging. I was going through a lot of personal, mental health, and family problems, and it was grueling to go to school each day. I was a challenging person to be around, to say the least, and I damaged many of the relationships with those around me. The me 4 years ago, a junior in high school, did not care for Holy Cross, for my community, and frankly, for myself. Around this time, I met several of the important mentors in my life. I can't talk about them all, but the handful I will talk about today are Mr. Adam Greer, Ms. Rachel Longus, and Mrs. Jennifer Ochmoody. Mr. Greer taught my world religions class my junior year. It was through his class that I learned that I'm an intellectually curious being. Mr. Greer also helped me during this difficult time in my life, a time where I was unwilling to accept help from others. He was very patient with me, despite me being ungrateful most of the time. One day, we talked about the concept of love and how one of my biggest struggles was loving myself. He challenged me to accept love, know love, and become love. It is a challenge I think about daily because I want to not only know the world, but to also be an agent of love and hope in this world. Cultivation of the mind, not at the expense of the heart. Thank you. My senior year, Ms. Longus, who worked for campus ministry, showed me how to put this love into action. Like I said earlier, I did not buy into the Holy Cross mission 4 years ago. However, around this time, the applications for peer ministry were available. The people I admired throughout my time in high school had all been peer ministers, people who had served the student body, mentored first-year students, and led retreats. I wanted to be this person for my McNamara community. Thankfully, I was accepted for the position. Throughout my senior year, Ms. Longus taught me several lessons, many of which I learned by her example. If anyone knows Ms. Longus, or Mama Longus as I call her, she builds community effortlessly. She taught me about humility and service. It is why St. Andre Bessette resonates with me the most. He served the community, holding the door open to welcome them. It is so simple and so humbling, yet this kind of service is brushed away. Ms. Longus taught me that I want to be a humble servant to my community. She's not here, but thank you. And lastly, but certainly not least, Mrs. Ochmoody, my guidance counselor, who could probably most attest to how difficult I was to deal with during the last few years of my high school career. Despite this, no, because of how difficult I was to deal with, she continued to bring me hope. To be fair, 85% of the time, I did not want it, but she brought hope to me anyway, a door always open, just waiting for me to accept it. She didn't turn me away the 85% of the time that I was ungrateful. St. Andre Bessette said, "Do not seek to have these trials lifted from you. Instead, ask for the grace to bear them well." Mrs. Ochmoody gave me a grace I didn't know I needed. She brought hope to me when I felt least deserving of it. Thank you. These people, along with several other mentors at my high school, were my support network. All of them meant to me what Holy Cross is. I am grateful I went to Holy Cross High School. I'm grateful I attend Holy Cross University, that further enriches me into my Holy Cross mission. It has allowed me to take risks I never thought I would take, crossing borders of every sort. I'm a sociology major because of it, getting to learn about marginalized communities through my discipline. I'm a Ronald E. McNamara Scholar, a program that funds low-income, first-generation, and minority college students to pursue undergraduate opportunities to prepare them from graduate school. Because of this opportunity, I get to go to Long Beach, California this Wednesday to present my research to the annual Pacific Sociological Association. I also got to study abroad this past fall in Thailand. It's not necessarily as appealing as Europe, but I got to learn about community vastly different than my own, and now part of my heart lives halfway across the world. Further, I've been able to learn and serve through our campus ministry Service Break Experience program, which has taken me to the Great White Mountain Apache Tribe in Arizona, to El Paso, Texas, and to Utah this coming summer. Lastly, I'm currently an intern for Minorities for Equality and Economy, Education, Liberty, and Justice Center. This internship has allowed me to solidify how I want to live my Holy Cross values in action. I want to work on criminal justice reform, both changing policy and serving my local community surrounding the issue. Putting my values of justice into service and action is something I would have never done without my Holy Cross education. So, why am I here? A year ago, when I was asked that question, it took a little bit of a pause. I thought of the me 4 years ago, who was submerged in a mental symphony of despair and self-hatred, believing that my life was just meant to be that way. As these women stared at me, I wondered if anyone had shown them the compassion and hope that I was shown. I told them that it was an honor to sit there, and I was there to learn and to listen. And we shared this moment that allowed to see ourselves as people deserving of compassion and hope. So, why are we here? We are here to continue to live in the ways of Holy Cross. For me, Holy Cross has never been an institution. It's never had walls because it's always embraced me. It's not one location because I have always found it. Holy Cross is a choice people make. It is a choice to educate the mind and the heart, to build community, to bring hope. I will spend the rest of my life learning the depths of Holy Cross. I also choose to live my life in and through the Holy Cross, teaching others what it means to be a part of it. When Brother Larry asked me to speak to all of you today, I thought of all the amazing students who have stood here in previous years. They amazed me with their accolades and achievements, and I realized I wanted my speech to be different. I don't think I'm special. I wasn't an easy person to get along with. I made and still make a lot of mistakes. And yet, I had people who took their time to care about me. And it took me a long time to realize that the people in my community cared about me, not because of the future promise that I would stand before you today to tell you how great I am. Those teachers gave me hope so that I could believe in myself and share that hope with others. I am not an amazing person, but by everything my Holy Cross education has provided me, I'm going to live my life as a person of Holy Cross. Ultimately, I ask all of you, members of the Congregation of Holy Cross, teachers and students, to continue to be Holy Cross. Continue to bring to hope to others, especially during difficult times. I ask that all of you have the competence to see and the courage to act. Education of the mind and the heart does not happen just on good days. It is a lifelong process encompassing our best and worst moments. I ask that all of you continue to bring hope, continue to share the mission and values of Holy Cross, because you may never know who may need it, and I certainly will not be here today without you doing just that. Thank you.
Well, that concludes our program for this evening. There is some coffee there if you if you were not served coffee. And we'll see each other tomorrow morning. The first session is at 9, and that will be followed by liturgy, Palm Sunday liturgy, in the chapel of Our Lady of Peace, which will be very crowded. But we'll do, I think Father Peter said he's going to add some chairs for us. So anyway, so I'll see you, and I know you'll probably go to 6th Street or somebody and have fun. See you tomorrow.